It's not often that I go into doing a video knowing that the title's already basically there. Maybe I should go into videos more often with a title in mind, but I said at the end of the last video that we were going to tidy the whole house, that the house was going to be like just moved around from top to bottom, and I might even walk around and film it once we've done what we needed to do, because I thought, oh, we all tidy, it'll look amazing and we'll be really pleased with it and be house proud enough that I'd be willing to film it and Claire would let me actually put it out. But it didn't go to plan. Not at all. We got up Saturday and I was all excited and ready to tidy up. I think I put a few bits away. I filled a few bags, and then I thought, you know what, I'll start in Ben's room. I picked up all of the clothes that were just kind of mounted around and put them away. And his room, yeah, easy peasy. He just put a few toys away, put a few clothes away. We took a mat that was up there down here. There's still a couple of bits, but I was like, yeah, fair enough. I thought, right, I've done the easiest room. Now I'll do the hardest room. So I went into Oliver's room. There was literally mountains of toys everywhere. We've just had Christmas. It's not long since his birthday at the end of October. He's got a lot of stuff, because not only has he got all the stuff that we've got him, he's got all the stuff that Emily kind of had that he then inherited. And the last time my mum visited, she brought up all of my old toys. So he's also got a load of Ghostbusters, a load of He-Man, a load of Thundercats and stuff like that. Just toys from the 80s/90s all over his room in big piles. And his room's just a mess. Now he's getting into Lego. It's getting even worse because there's bits of Lego everywhere. So I just thought, okay, right, we can sort this. And after about an hour of trying to convince him to help us do it, which he was never going to do, and after trying to, basically every time we put Ben down, he'd kick off. Ollie wouldn't help. We'd end up doing loads of work. Ben would get stressed out. We'd get stressed out. We'd have to go get Ben. The second we got Ben, he'd start meddling with things and emptying boxes. Oliver wasn't helping with anything. And so me, Claire, Ollie and Ben were just having a bit of a back and forth in Oliver's room, all the while Emily's just plugging away in her room, tidying up and doing a good job. So I think after a little while, I put Ben to bed. I put Ben in his bed and he fell asleep. And I went and just laid in our room, just staring at the ceiling, thinking, this was not what I had in mind. While I was in there, Claire carried on with Ollie for a minute. I think she got him to turn it into a bit of a game or something, I don't know. But she just decided which bit she was going to throw out of his. Because I'm a bit like, oh, we can't throw that out. You know, she wanted to throw out some Avengers toys. And I was saying, well, yes, he hasn't played with them at the moment because he's 6. But they're the kind of toys that you could pick up again when you're 8, 9, and suddenly get into. You know, he's only got to watch one of the films and suddenly he'll play with them. And she's like, oh, whatever. So I was probably getting in the way a lot more there. But when I come back and said, right, I'm ready, we basically knocked through his room a bit more and it's tidy. But after we'd done that, it was like, right, none of us are interested anymore. We've got no interest in doing any more of this at all. I was planning on my plan was to go and get a ladder to go in our loft and put all our old Christmas decorations back up there, because our room was decent enough, except for the fact there was Christmas decorations literally everywhere. In boxes and stuff. So I said I'd nip round to her mum's and do that. I told Claire that I would nip out quickly with Ollie and catch some Pokemon, that I would drive around town and then I'd go to her mum's. 2.5 hours later, she rang me to say, you better not be catching Pokemon. Like, you're not still out, are you? And I was like, no, I'm not. I said, I literally spent 5 minutes catching Pokemon. I thought, I'll get the ladder. I'll sort out the problem for her mum, side rant, my mother-in-law, bless her, has had a BT internet account for like 20 years, let's say, and got a free email address with it, which they used on everything for 20 years. Now they've realised that they can save like £50 a month by moving to Sky, if not more. I think she was running it through. She's very excited running through the numbers with me, as you can imagine. And she discovered that she could get rid of BT and move to Sky and save her fortune, but she'd lose her email address that she's been using for the past 2 decades, and that would mean she'd have to then go through every account she's ever set up on like Tesco's or whatever, anything, Energy, and basically change them all one by one to a new one. She's going to forget. She's got to tell friends and relatives that she's changed the email address. She's got to remember to update things that she's probably only ever gone in once a year or whatever. And it's just really frustrating. The only alternative was BT wants something like £7.50 a month to keep the email address going, which is insane when everyone in the world gets email addresses for nothing from the likes of Microsoft and Google and Yahoo. So I spent time setting her up. I decided, I don't know why, to set her up a Gmail account. But then her Kindle Fire wasn't compatible with any of the Play Store stuff. She wanted this Sky app, and it took me forever to set it up. So when I come back, bearing in mind I'd set off at like 3 o'clock, we'd tidied up the house until like 1, had lunch, I'd sat around, and then I said I'm going to nip out, went to theirs, I got back about 5, so it's dinner time now. So we went and we got Chinese, which was awesome, and I ate so much food. And then we did plan again to watch some films and just chill out, and then Ollie wouldn't go to bed, so we ended up maybe sneaking in an episode of Titans. And the real bit I didn't expect to this weekend, and just kind of threw me, still throwing me today, because I wasn't sure whether it was a real conversation, but it turns out it was, and Kev stitched me up here, I almost ranted at him on Twitter about this, in a jokey way, but Claire, my wife, asked me about the fact that Kev has been talking about going vegan and trying vegan food and all of this, and we had a chat where I was like, it just seems like a lot of effort, not just like you cutting back, you've literally got to go through everything. Is my shampoo safe? Is my coffee safe? Because I think that's what brought it up. I said to her, I've just been talking to Kev about coffee pods, because I suddenly thought they're not safe, surely they're not vegan friendly, and if they are, they're not environmentally friendly. And then we got into the conversation, she was kind of like, would you ever consider cutting back on things? And I said, well, I'd worry more about the environmental stuff. I didn't like getting the pods because they were bad for the environment. My big thing that worries me is how much we're ruining the sea. And I basically said to her, I'd rather cut back on eating sea creatures and plastics and polluting the sea. And I said, because it annoys me thinking that 200-300 years ago you could have probably walked across the English Channel and there'd have been so many fish in it, and we've just been rinsing it with, just clearing it of life systematically with machines and stuff. And she basically heard what I said, which is fair enough really, and said, well, why don't we just stop eating fish then? And I was like, yeah, that probably seems like a good idea. And she was like, oh, damn it, I just bought a load of tuna. And I was like, oh, we'll eat it anyway. She was like, nah, we're going to donate it. We'll give it away to a canned food thing at Tesco's. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And then she was like, what other meats wouldn't you eat? And I thought, I've completely cornered myself now, because she was then going like, what about the way chickens are treated? And I'm like, yeah, I don't really eat chicken. And then I realised I eat chicken literally every day at work, every single day. So I was like, maybe I need to stop eating chicken. And I just thought, why have I suddenly been... I couldn't go, well, no, I'm happy with that, because I'm not happy with that. And she kind of put me on the spot. So again, I thought I was just having an off-the-cuff conversation about how Kev hadn't considered the ramifications of having to give up like hair products that might not be vegan, and it turned into, you've given up fish and we're not going to buy chicken anymore, which we don't buy chicken anyway. I agreed with her on that. I said to her, I don't think I really want to cut out any other meats. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I don't... What frustrates me is I already spoke to Kev about this and said I've been getting it from all angles since like December time, from Claire, from my friend Shelley, who comments here a lot and she'll be watching this no doubt, and on Twitter from her, and now he's started, and I'm just like, I don't know, it's too much. So that wasn't to plan at all. It's been a weird weekend, really. I was just checking. I made a note of a third thing that I was meant to talk about, and I've just remembered what it was. But it's just been weird. I feel like what I set out to do has been slightly derailed or slightly watered down. The house is okay. There is still like washing up and stuff over there to do that is a bit annoying. I've got to go and plough through that before I can sit and watch some films or whatever. But no, it's been all right, and I think the only thing lingering over me at the moment is, I don't know if I mentioned, and it's not going to be a major problem, I think, but I got a call last week saying that the school for Ollie have referred us to a behaviour panel to explore whether there's additional things they haven't thought of that we could do with Ollie to help him. And Claire and I are a bit of a... can't think of the right word. We're not on the same page with it. I see it as, yeah, fair enough. If there's something more we can be doing, great. Let's keep an open mind. And she agrees with that, but she also feels like the school aren't being preventative enough, perhaps, is the best way of putting it. Or just maybe not that they're not being preventative enough, that they're just sometimes not getting it, that really this is a full-time, 100% of the time thing. You can't just go, okay, when we're doing this, we'll do this and that might fix it. It's no, literally everything needs to have a consideration in place, and that's the reason there's problems, because they're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, but I don't think we should be turning away any kind of panel that might come up with ideas. All they're really going to do is suggest things that might help, and if they don't help, they're then going to escalate it further. I asked some questions about whether this would get him any kind of additional support in terms of people, and actually it's not that far down the road. I think I have spoken about this, 'cause I remember saying that, but we're not 100% on the same page of this, and I've got to go do this meeting tomorrow about it. I've got to go sit in the planning meeting with the panel. It means I leave work at lunchtime and go to that. So if anything interesting comes out of it, I'll slip it into tomorrow's vlog, but I'm trying to water down the amount of them I do, because I don't want to be too kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm just droning on at people about it. Hopefully it'll be useful. I don't think it's going to affect the process any. It's not going to speed things up. It's still a 2-year waiting list and all that nonsense. I've been chasing it up with the doctor, but again, I didn't expect to have to do that. This has been a whole thing of things I didn't expect to happen. Yeah, fingers crossed they don't. What I'm worried about, and I trust them at the moment, and I don't want that trust to be misplaced. They're telling me it's not something that's going to negatively affect us. It's not some, like, 'cause Claire was reading about it and saying, well, it's not just things they can refer people with extra needs, like autistic people. They can put people there with behavioural issues, or it can just be a discipline path. And so she's worried that they're saying it's one thing and then it'll turn out to be another thing. And that's a legitimate worry, but I'm trusting them that it's not. So if it is, then I'm kind of like, why are you misleading me? I don't think they would be. They've not misled us before. But then I worry that I'm slightly naive. I take people at face value. When someone says something, I assume they mean it. Or at least that they've thought through why they're saying it. Sometimes I can tell when someone said something and you're like, that's not true, but I can't see what they'd gain out of misleading us at this point. I think we've been quite open with them. I feel like I've probably been surprisingly open with them about things. Even the way he delivered it to me was, many people we talked to about this don't want to do it. And I was like, well, it sounds like it'd be useful. Why wouldn't I want to do it? And he was happy that I agreed. So I don't know. I feel on the back foot now because Claire smells a rat, and I trust her instincts over mine. Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird one. So that could be another thing I didn't expect tomorrow. Maybe it's me. But anyway, that is my weekend. I'm sorry I can't go and do a glorious house tour of how tidy it is. I think what we've established from working through Ollie and Emily's room is that we basically, at some point, I need to save up. I need to get a big pot of cash. I need to go down to IKEA. I need to buy every single square box Kallax shelving unit they've got. And I just need to deck our house out in them from wall to wall, well, all the upstairs anyway. I was looking at the walls just thinking if Ollie had like... I don't know, 40 different squares to just put stuff in, he'd be sorted. Emily probably needs about 20 or 30 and she'd be sorted. And once they had their neat little boxes with everything in them, they'd all be fine. So that is the current plan. I don't know if we'll ever get to do that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up. I was trying to make an end credit. I mentioned on the last video to make an end kind of subscribe, like, comment thing that was purple like the background here when I'm talking. Annoyingly, I made one, wasn't sure about the background, and when I went to change the background it crashed and I couldn't get back in to get all the different layers, so I had like a layer for everything. So I'm just going to stick that one on. Let me know your thoughts on it. If it's rubbish, let me know your honest beliefs, and then I'll change it. I'll go through the effort of trying to remake it and change the background if it's not very good. If it's all right, it's all right. Job done. But let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.